Kim Kardashian's Hollywood dream just turned into a full-blown nightmare. Her new show, All's Fair, was supposed to be her big moment, the one that finally proved she could do more than reality TV. But instead, it's being called one of the worst things Ryan Murphy has ever produced. And that's saying a lot. Critics are dragging Kim's acting, Teyana Taylor's performance is getting roasted, and even Ryan Murphy, the man behind Glee and American Horror Story, can't escape the backlash. The show has been slammed with brutal reviews, with some saying it's so bad, it's not even fun to hate watch. And here's the kicker. Even with icons like Sarah Paulson and Glenn Close, All's Fair somehow managed to get a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. 0. That's the kind of score that makes Hollywood whisper, what went wrong? Because when you mix one of the world's most famous women with one of TV's most powerful creators, you don't expect disaster. You expect dominance. But this time, Kim's designer gowns and flawless contour couldn't cover up the cracks. So what really happened behind the scenes? Why are fans calling it a train wreck? And is this flop the end of Kim Kardashian's acting dreams, or just the beginning of her next PR redemption arc? Let's get into it. When news first broke that Kim Kardashian was teaming up with Ryan Murphy, Hollywood couldn't stop talking. This was the same woman who turned a 2000 reality show into a billion-dollar empire, and now she was stepping into the serious world of acting. Fans thought All's Fair was going to be her big redemption arc, the moment she silenced every critic who said she was just famous for being famous. Ryan Murphy hyped it up like it was a next Suits meets Scandal, a glossy, high-stakes legal drama set in Los Angeles. Kim was reportedly playing a divorce attorney for the rich and ruthless, a role people assumed would fit her perfectly. After all, who knows more about high-profile divorces than Kim Kardashian herself? But when the show premiered, that excitement flipped overnight. Viewers were stunned, not by Kim's transformation, but by how painfully out of place she seemed. Lines that were supposed to sound powerful came off flat, like she was reading from a teleprompter. Even fans who love her couldn't defend it, with one viral tweet saying, Kim sounds like she's delivering her lines during a skincare commercial. And it wasn't just Kim. The entire show looked rushed. The writing was clunky, the pacing dragged, and scenes that were meant to be dramatic ended up feeling awkwardly forced. One critic said, it's like watching a perfume ad that forgot what story it was trying to tell. To make matters worse, Ryan Murphy's own reputation didn't help. After a string of recent flops and declining reviews for his newer projects, All's Fair was supposed to prove he still had the magic touch. Instead, it might have done the opposite. But the real shock came from who was standing beside Kim, because the backlash didn't stop with her. And what happened next would drag another fan-favorite star straight into the fire. When fans heard that Teyana Taylor was joining Kim Kardashian in All's Fair, it sounded like the perfect pairing. Teyana had just come off major praise for her raw, emotional performance in 8001, a film that showed she could act circles around almost anyone in her lane. People thought she'd bring that same power to this project, maybe even carry the show if Kim struggled. But when All's Fair dropped, it didn't take long for the internet to turn on her too. Instead of being the breakout star, Teyana's performance became another point of criticism. Viewers said her character felt flat, the dialogue felt awkward, and her chemistry with Kim, the show's supposed emotional core, just wasn't there. One review bluntly stated, you can tell both women are talented, but they're trapped inside a script that doesn't know what it wants to be. Another added, Teyana Taylor looks like she's doing her best to swim in a sinking ship. Fans online were even harsher. Memes comparing scenes from All's Fair to SNL skits started flooding X, formerly Twitter. One user wrote, how did Teyana go from giving one of the best performances of 2023 to this? What made it worse was that people felt Teyana had been set up to fail. With Ryan Murphy promising a sophisticated and bold show, audiences expected writing that matched her level. Instead, it looked like even talented actors couldn't save a poorly built story. Behind the scenes, rumors started swirling that both Kim and Teyana were frustrated with the direction of the show, that certain rewrites made their characters inconsistent, and that Murphy was more focused on image than storytelling. None of this has been confirmed, but it's fueled online speculation that All's Fair wasn't just a flop. It was a full-on creative disaster. And as the dust settled, fans started asking one question that would shift the entire conversation. Was Ryan Murphy finally losing his touch? And what insiders began revealing about him might explain exactly why this project fell apart. For years, Ryan Murphy was considered one of the most powerful names in television. From Glee to American Horror Story to The Politician, he created entire worlds that defined pop culture. But lately, it feels like that golden touch has faded, and All's Fair might be the clearest sign yet. When Netflix signed Murphy to a massive $300 million deal back in 2018, the industry thought he'd dominate the streaming era. But after a few early hits, critics started noticing something. The same recycled formulas, the same glossy style over substance, and a growing sense that Murphy was more focused on shock value than storytelling. Then came All's Fair. According to insiders, Murphy pushed for Kim Kardashian because he wanted a headline-grabbing name, not necessarily the best fit for the role. Some reports even suggest Kim's involvement came before the script was finished, meaning the entire project may have been shaped around her image rather than a solid story. It didn't help that Murphy's team hyped the show as a bold reimagining of modern justice. But what fan got felt more like an extended perfume ad, beautiful people saying hollow lines in expensive clothes? Even Murphy's loyal fans couldn't defend it. One viral TikTok said, "Ryan Murphy's new show looks like what happens when Hollywood's ego finally eats itself." And the reviews were brutal. Critics didn't just call the show bad. They called it embarrassing. The Hollywood Reporter said it plays like a parody of prestige TV, while Rolling Stone joked, even Kim Kardashian's reality shows had more emotion than this. People started revisiting Murphy's recent track record, and the pattern was clear. Every few years, another big-budget project would debut to massive hype, then vanish after a few weeks. From Hollywood to The Watcher to Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, the complaints were the same: flashy start, weak finish. But All's Fair might be the moment the audience finally said, enough. Because when the name Ryan Murphy used to mean must-watch TV, now it's becoming a warning sign for style over story. And as his empire starts to crack, one question lingers. Was Kim Kardashian just a casualty of his decline, or did she help cause it? Because what happened next made the backlash personal, and Kim was right at the center of it. When All's Fair hit streaming, Kim Kardashian probably expected a wave of praise, or at least respect, for stepping out of her comfort zone. But within hours of premiere, the internet had turned it into one giant meme. Clips of her courtroom scenes went viral for all the wrong reasons. Fans said her delivery sounded robotic. Her expressions barely changed, and one TikTok edit comparing her to a GTA character reading dialogue racked up millions of views in a single day. Even her fans were conflicted, proud of her for trying something new, but cringing at the result. Tweets poured in. Kim Kardashian is acting like someone pretending to act. This feels like an SNL skit that forgot to be funny. And one particularly savage post said, "She's giving more Botox and emotion." Within 48 hours, the hashtag #AllsFlops started trending. People joked that the show should have been called Keeping Up with the Courtroom, and that Ryan Murphy had officially entered his cash grab era. What made the backlash sting even more was how personal it got. Instead of focusing just on her acting, fans began revisiting Kim's past. The controversies, the privilege, the idea that she could buy her way into any industry. One comment summed it up perfectly. You can't shortcut talent, not even with fame and money. But here's where it gets messy. Some insiders claim Kim was never supposed to carry the show. The original concept allegedly had her as a side character, but her growing involvement and executive producer credit shifted the focus to her. Once the story became Kim Kardashian's show, expectations skyrocketed, and when it didn't deliver, all the blame fell squarely on her. Still, if there's one thing Kim Kardashian knows how to do, it's survive public humiliation. She's built her entire empire on turning bad press into business opportunities. And after this disaster, that survival instinct kicked in fast. Because while critics were laughing, Kim was already planning her next move, and it caught everyone off guard. If there's one thing Kim Kardashian has mastered, it's turning a bad situation into a viral comeback. Within days of All's Fair getting torn apart online, Kim switched gears, from actress to strategist. While most celebrities might hide after flop, Kim leaned into the noise, posting behind-the-scenes clips, polished photos from the set, and subtle captions like, "So proud of this journey." It was classic Kardashian PR. Control the narrative before it controls you. But this time, the usual formula didn't land. Fans weren't buying it. Under every Instagram post came a wave of sarcastic comments like, "Proud of what exactly?" And even the lighting couldn't save that performance. Then came the damage control through interviews. A source close to Kim, which fans know usually means someone from her team, told Page Six that Kim was incredibly proud of her performance and that she worked with acting coaches for months. Another report claimed she wasn't bothered by the criticism, calling it just motivation to keep improving. But online, that narrative clashed with what people were seeing. More leaks began circulating. Rumors that Kim wasn't happy with the final edit, that key scenes were cut, and that she felt the writing didn't reflect how hard she'd worked. One insider even hinted that Kim blamed Ryan Murphy's team for rushing production to meet a release deadline. Fans started to notice that Ryan Murphy was staying unusually silent. No statements, no social media posts defending the project, nothing. That silence only fueled speculation that something deep was going on behind the scenes. Some claimed there was tension between Kim's camp and Murphy's creative team, with both sides trying to quietly distance themselves from the flop. Still, Kim's PR instincts didn't fail completely. Despite the backlash, she managed to pivot the story into a narrative about growth and fearlessness. Major outlets started picking up that angle. How Kim took a risk by stepping into acting and wasn't afraid to fail publicly. It was the perfect setup for a redemption arc. But Hollywood has a long memory. And while Kim's team tried to spin the flop as courageous, industry insiders were whispering that this might have hurt her credibility with serious directors. Because while Kim was busy cleaning up the mess, Hollywood was already moving on, and the damage to her acting dreams might be permanent. Hollywood could be ruthless, and once All's Fair bombed, Kim Kardashian found that out fast. The same producers who once praised her for breaking barriers suddenly went quiet. Studio executives stopped mentioning her name in upcoming casting conversations. And insiders started saying what everyone was thinking but too polite to say out loud. Kim Kardashian's acting experiment was over before it even began. According to several reports, a few networks that had been considering future projects with Kim quietly backed out. One insider told Deadline that the response to All's Fair scared off investors, claiming they didn't want the Kardashian circus overshadowing the creative. Ouch! Even her Hollywood connections started showing cracks. Ryan Murphy, once her biggest champion, allegedly shifted focus to other stars in his circle, leaving Kim's next move uncertain. People close to the situation said Murphy felt blindsided by the backlash and didn't want his brand associated with the negativity. Meanwhile, Teyana Taylor was reportedly frustrated too. Insiders claimed she felt the show's poor reception unfairly damaged her reputation as an actress, and that Kim's involvement took too much of the spotlight. Online, fans echoed that sentiment, saying Teyana deserved better and that she got dragged down by someone else's vanity project. And in the background, the entertainment world started having a larger conversation, one that went beyond Kim herself. Critics began asking whether Hollywood's obsession with influencers and reality stars had finally hit its breaking point. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. You can't cheat your way into Hollywood. You have to earn it. Even Kim's closest allies in the fashion and beauty world seemed to take a step back. She skipped major industry events after the premiere, and eagle-eyed fans noticed a sudden drop in Hollywood A-listers liking or commenting on her posts. For someone who's built her career on connections, that silence was deafening. Still, Kim's not someone who stays down for long. Rumor has it she's already eyeing new direction, not in acting, but behind the camera. Reports suggest she's exploring producing roles in documentary-style projects where she has full creative control. It's smart, and it might be her way of rewriting the narrative again. But no matter how polished the comeback plan is, one thing's clear. Hollywood has moved on, and All's Fair might have been the moment Kim Kardashian learned that fame doesn't always equal respect. Because the show may be over, but the fallout, that's just beginning. At the end of the day, All's Fair may not have been the career-defining moment Kim Kardashian hoped for. Critics roasted her, the internet turned her into a meme overnight, and Hollywood insiders are whispering doubts about her future as an actress. But if there's one thing Kim has proven over the past 2 decades, it's that she knows how to survive and even thrive after public scrutiny. The flop might sting, but it's not the end. Kim is already pivoting, leaning into producing in projects where she can control the narrative. She's learning that success in Hollywood isn't just about fame. It's about talent, timing, and sometimes knowing when to step back. Fans may have laughed. Critics may have dragged her, but Kim's ability to turn controversy into opportunity remains unmatched. And let's be honest, despite the backlash, people are still watching. All's Fair might not change anyone's life, but it sparked conversation, inspired memes, and reminded the world that Kim Kardashian isn't afraid to take risks. Whether this experience strengthens her or teaches her a humbling lesson, one thing is certain. The Kardashian brand endures, even when the show flops. So while Hollywood debates her acting chops, Kim is quietly plotting her next move, and if history is any guide, she's far from finished. The question now isn't whether Kim can act. It's whether she can turn this setback into the next big empire move. And if anyone can, it's her.